Okay, so the first thing I want to do is for everyone to close their eyes, okay? So take a deep breath and just enjoy the silence for a sec. I would like everybody to think on a form of art, contemplating the beauty of art. So pick one of the arts. Do you imagine yourself dancing or maybe being delighted with beautiful artworks from a museum or enjoying the visuals or auditory landscapes of a movie? Or maybe you imagine yourself listening to your favorite songs with a decent sound system? What does this art inspire you? All the forms of art are gifts of life. And I believe that we as creators, as artists, are incredibly sensible with our visual, auditory, and tactile inputs. Okay, now imagine that you have lived all your life with a certain limiting physical condition cataloged as a disability, and that thanks to destiny, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, you can live at a time where technology surpasses the biological limits of your condition, and the impossibility of your condition becomes a possibility. Would you feel astonished or maybe intrigued by your body responding in alternative ways? New neural connections begin. Our ability to adapt to our environment is outstanding, and those people who are born with a condition like disability manage going off on a tangent. They manage to slip away from how society wants them to be. They must rebel in order to not anchor themselves to what society expects of them. Now open your eyes. As you can see, I don't have a right ear. I was born with a deformity called microtia. This means that my right ear did not develop properly during pregnancy. This factory default caused me to have severe conductive hearing loss. That is, being deaf through my right ear. And although I had this hearing condition that did not allow me to understand a conversation in noisy spaces or to have stereo hearing that allowed me to know where the sounds were located, this was never an impediment to pursue my passion. There was a major turning point in my life in my 20s when I was in fifth semester of the bachelor's degree. In an appointment with the ant doctor, he discovered that my inner ear was in good hearing condition, and that this would allow me to be a candidate for an implant that will help me to hear on that side. I was mind blown with this fact. I couldn't believe it. Now, he told me to go to a fellow otologist, and he was enthusiastic about my case. A musician who could very possibly be able to hear through his right ear for the first time in his life. He told me that there was a type of implant that could help me hear, the BAHA, the bone-anchored hearing aid. This bone conduction system is a shortcut for my inner ear to receive the vibrations of the processor through the skull bone. In March 2020, I underwent the implantation surgery, and I had to wait 2 months for the processor to arrive, and my life would change forever. I studied commercial composition and jazz singing, both as major emphasis of my music degree. And though sometimes it was hard at producing music or discriminating where sounds were coming from, I relied on the theory of how a person with normal bilateral hearing listens. Now, I was going to face my undergraduate degree project and I needed a problem to solve. I had chosen to make a long play, and I knew I wanted to involve my new auditory perception as an exploratory exercise. So the following problematic resulted. Recording productions are usually imagined and designed for people who can hear through both ears without any kind of hearing impairment. The whole wide range of people with different hearing possibilities is not contemplated in the formulation of these record productions. That is to say, that the stages of musical production, such as composition, musical arrangements, recording of the different instrumental formats, and above all, mixing, are thought under a binaural standard, in which it is taken for granted that the listeners will be under the same conditions of auditory perception. People with hearing abilities different from the rule are left out of the delight of this listening experience, since in order to hear, we need implants or other hearing devices through which sounds are perceived differently from the ears. I can't deny that this life change scared me. With a career that depended entirely on hearing, I had so many questions. How will I hear with this new hybrid hearing? Will I have a sound quality that is quite different from my other ear? The intrigue was killing me, but the only way to answer my questions was to risk to the unknown of this technological possibility. On May 27 of 2020, I received my implant, and my life was forever split in two. Of course, it was not an overnight process to adapt comfortably and clearly to the implant. At first, it was not easy to understand sounds. I was stunned by loud noises, uncomfortable with certain frequencies. But finally, I was able to hear where the sound was coming from. Everything could be heard with greater intensity and better detail. But the most surprising thing was to understand for the first time the stereophony of music. This was very difficult to share with people, precisely because it was an internal process within me. As time passed, I had many questions about my new audition. There were situations that conflicted me, for example, listening to music with headphones. I was self-taught with experimentation and my listening, and so I started to solve problems. But not only problems came, there were also new findings, new perspectives of how life sounds. Currently, I'm starting a project I call the exploration of energetic singing. I have been engaged with the need of deepening my relationship between the body as a vibrational center and my spiritual healing. I have also been attending ancestral medicine ceremonies here in Colombia, and I've had my voice clearing up my life. There were moments when my voice exceeded the limits of exploration and improvisation that I had reached, and then I realized that our voice is one of the most wonderful tools we have to heal us and heal the others. As a cyborg, I can only understand sound as a vibrational healing experience. I have strong intentions during the residency to share, explore, and develop tools for improvisation and composition from resonance and healing thinking. So, this is my voice.